right, settle down. Professor Unserious here. Class is in session.
Get what you think you know about history. Today, we're digging into China's very first supergroup, the Neolithic 8.
Yeah, you heard me. Prehistoric pop idols. Let's go.
We're time traveling back to the Neolithic era to meet these OGs. Think of them as the prehistoric BTS, the original NSYNC, the Neolithic 8, or N8 for the stands. These guys were dropping chart toppers, literal chart toppers, way back in 3000 BC. But they didn't just drop beats, they dropped civilization-defining bangers. We're talking flood control, agriculture, and, as we'll see today, fire. Forget your current faves. The N8 crew had billions of fans, eventually, and permanently held the C-spot on the Yellow River trending charts. Now, within this legendary crew, 3 earned the ultimate title, the 3 Sovereigns. But which 3 exactly? Man, that's the biggest who is it drama in prehistoric history. Why the mystery? Simple. History, technically, starts with writing. Anything before that. That's prehistory. And the N8 left their mark right on that fuzzy line. No written records means endless debates. Makes sense, right? Anyway, after centuries of fandom wars, academic beef, and tireless work by archaeologists, and, gossip lovers like me, the industry standard lineup is generally accepted.
Suiren, Fuxi, and Shenna.
So, let's give it up for the first headliner, Suiren. This guy didn't just start the party, he literally lit up the Stone Age. Think of him as the founding father of BBQ and China's very own Prometheus. Life back then was rough. No smartphones, no Wi-Fi, and definitely no delivery. Just cold, dark nights and uncooked everything. It was basically barely surviving, but with 0 good reviews. But then Suiren changed the game. One stormy day, lightning zapped a tree. Everyone else freaked out and ran, but Suiren, he had a different vibe. He stared at the flames and had a true galaxy brain moment.
What if I could make that myself?
The storm had passed. In the quiet left behind, Suiren knelt and scanned his surroundings. All he could find were a few scraps of wood and some sinew from who knows what animal. It took a great effort, but from his meager collection, he managed to pick out a small piece of Suimu wood, his namesake. Then, after what felt like an eternity of rubbing it against a stone, he sharpened one end of a hard, straight spindle into a point. This was all he could piece together. This was everything he had. He set the spindle on the slab, the movement deliberate, like a hunter steadying his aim before the critical shot. He gripped the shaft between his palms, leaned in, and began to spin. The first rotation was a test. A low groan hummed from the wood, a vibration he felt in his bones, too slow. He adjusted his pressure, the image of the lightning striking the tree replaying in his mind. He wasn't after a single impact. He was after that relentless friction that could spark a flame. His hands began to move, faster now, accelerating into a blur. The groan sharpened into a harsh, grating hiss, the sound of wood grinding against wood. A fine, dark dust gathered in the notch. This was the progress he was hunting for. His pace quickened. The hiss became a high-pitched shriek, a raw sound tearing through the silence. He was completely focused, the world narrowing to just him and the spindle. His body began to rock and sway on its own, a physical response to the intense hypnotic spin lost in the effort. The air thickened, heavy with the scent of ozone and singed wood. The smell of something building. Faster, the shriek climbed to an impossible pitch. The dust began to smoke. And then, the breakthrough. From the heart of the friction, a tiny, furious ember bloomed red. It flickered, it wavered, and then, poof. The rubbing and the rocking were no longer just movements. They were the birth of a craft. The wood and the spindle were no longer just tools. They became the first DJ's standard gear. The Stone Age had its first rhythm. Humanity's first DJ had just burst onto the scene. A tiny flame flickered to life. Suiren cupped it like it was the last PS5 in stock, and sprinted back to the tribe, yelling,
Guys, look, I made the glowy thing.
The whole tribe gathered around, their minds blown.
Cool.
Someone whispered.
But what's it for?
Suiren just grinned.
Oh, grilling, staying warm, not getting eaten by saber-toothed tigers. The usual, no biggie.
Drilling for fire was one small step for Suiren, but one giant leap for humankind. Life 1.0 was all raw meat and jump scares. Life 2.0 was warmth, light, and BBQ. Beasts, banished, the bitter cold, conquered. He gave us more than just survival. He gave us the vibe. From the joy of a backyard barbecue to the warmth of a fireside chat, Suiren made it all possible. He's the original master of making things lit. So, yeah, he's China's Prometheus. But let's be real. Suiren's story is better. He made the fire through science and persistence. He didn't steal it from the gods. The payoff? No angry eagles, no eternal liver pecking. Just vibes. In N8 terms, Suiren was the DJ who took the prehistoric playlist from ambient chill to absolute rager. Humanity has been dancing to his beat ever since.
So next time you light a candle or fire up the grill, give a nod to Suiren. He's the OG fire starter who proved that one small spark and a lot of patience can set the world ablaze. That spark set the physical world ablaze. It brought warmth, cooked food, and safety from the beasts. But what about the social world? The tribe was warm and fed, but their minds were still a mess. They still didn't know when to hunt, when to fish, or how to organize their families. That's a story for episode 2, Fuxi, the Genesis ape who coded our civilization.